so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce that on January 5th, I'm going to be freely gifting each of you my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. In the book, which was initially shown to me in a dream and has been followed by a next level amount of synchronicity, by the way, I share the keys to manifesting abundance that I've personally discovered over 20 plus years of trial, error, and deep exploration of these perspectives, as well as one golden key that ultimately ties them all together. Also, I would like to invite you to participate in a unique abundance manifestation experiment with me and the other readers that is outlined in detail at the end of the book and at the book's website, goldenkey.gift, where readers will also share the inspiring results of their abundance manifestation experiments. So if you're wanting 2021 to be the year that you alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level, head over to goldenkey.gift to sign up to accept my golden gift right when it comes out on January 5th. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. It is a fantabulous Friday here in the studio as I record. As always, super grateful to be connecting, sharing, growing with each and every one of you. It is such interesting times, isn't it? It feels like with all this COVID stuff that it is, sort of, what do they say? It's like darkest before the dawn. So we have, vaccines on the horizon, and I know lots of people have varying ideas and thoughts about that. I'm not even trying to go there. However, the result of a vaccine, I think, will be a lot of lifting and people, less people being in fear, which I think is the biggest issue with this whole thing. Anyway, it feels to me like we are in that darkest before the dawn moment, and 2021 is going to be a year of so much expansion and growth and coming out of the chrysalis, and yeah, that's the vision I'm holding. So, I encourage you guys all to hold on, not give in to the fear of all the stuff that is transpiring out there, and to just take small steps. And that's really what I want to talk about today, is little things that can be done from where you're at with what you've got to become the next greatest and grandest version of yourself. And before I do go into all of that, I want to quickly let you guys know about something that's going to be happening here at the Manor. That is a shift. And pre-COVID, we were doing all kinds of events, and of course, you guys know the retreats and all that stuff, which I look forward to getting back into as things clear up. But we're going to be hosting our first intimate, COVID-safe, limited capacity, curated event put on by the high vibe global community called Humans I Trust. And the Humans I Trust crew actually took over the stage at Envision Festival last year from Superhero Academy, which regular co-hostess with the mostest Samantha Lotus originally helped to create. It's which is also where I originally met her way back in the day. But I just wanted to tell you guys about it because this event is going to be, an intimate gathering of souls to invoke love, co-creation, higher consciousness, tapping in through everyone's respective businesses and projects. So if you're listening, you're a heart-centered entrepreneur, leader, or influencer, you're definitely going to want to apply to be here. It's a one-day transformational event. It's happening on December 12th, so coming up pretty soon. It's a one-day thing, one-day transformational event that will include masterminding, an immersive breathwork experience, trance meditation, deep connection exercises, cacao ceremony, and on and on. So yeah, if you guys are, wanting to tap into this high frequency network, you can go to positivehead.com/trust, TRUST, to fill out the application, and then someone will get in touch with you regarding the details. So yeah, super excited that's going to be happening here. But back to what I was talking about, how can you level up from where you are? What can you do? It's little things. It's those little movements that can ultimately add up to, a big result, right? You slowly but surely shift the needle. A Chinese proverb, the man who removes a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Or Confucius's quote, it does not matter how slowly you go so long as you do not stop. And, there's so many of these, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. You've heard a lot of them. And so, I got thinking about this, and also, of course, always reflecting things that are going back in my own life and what's happening here at, the Mystic Manor, since it is a somewhat communal space. There's been a lot of focus on cleanliness and getting things, any clutter is a reflection of, external clutter is a reflection of internal clutter. And when you've got, a lot of people in one space, you get varying degrees of internal clutter, a lot of times, of course, orchestrated for mutual growth for all involved. And so I've been really excited to see some of the the folks around here get better with cleaning up after themselves. And some of the things, I think back to when I was, early 20s, my first little apartment, how dirty it was with me and all of my little grunion friends at, 21 or whatever. And then now I'm just like, I really feel like, put off, tweaked out from, an environment that's cluttered. And I think that has a lot to do with where I'm at in my growth at this point, because, once again, it's vibrational clutter. It makes you feel, not dialed. And so, I know some of you out there listening are probably really meticulous with your spaces. Others are probably at a point where, there's a lot of clutter around, and this is no judgment. It's just, something to become aware of, like, if I've got a lot of clutter and a lot of physical clutter, and maybe things aren't as clean as they could be, how is that a reflection of me and where I'm at? And instead of feeling overwhelmed or beating yourself up for it, what if you just do little things to make that difference? Like today, I did a workout. It was 10 minutes. I didn't do a 2-hour marathon workout. I did something relatively small that felt good. It felt good to get that. My day's super busy, but I did something, right? Same thing we can do with this whole idea of being clean and cleaning up our space, and therefore ultimately, the reflection is obviously what we're looking at, and it's going to start to feel really good when you walk in your space. And there's been a couple people here, and younger folks, by the way, than me anyway, who are just really having that realization, getting their place really organized, and like, oh my gosh, Brandon, it feels so good in my room now. And I'm like, I know, right? In this was sparked, I saw a quote that said, clutter is the physical manifestation of unmade decisions fueled by procrastination, by Christina Scalise. I saw that, and it got me thinking about that, and just some other things that have happened. Not only has this kind of been going on around here in the last few days, or really even weeks, but last few days there's been a lot of talk around it. I think back to even a month or so ago, my partner Karen, she went in and did a deep cleaning of the drain in our shower. And it's a pretty, you guys who've been on retreat have seen it, it's like a pretty dramatic bathroom. I always say it's where I steer the spaceship of the Mystic Manor. It's like this big circle room and a really big open shower. You could have like 20 people in it. It's silly, but it has this long skinny drain, so it's kind of a weird unconventional drain. And she spent like I don't know, probably a couple hours just like meticulously getting down in there, and she pulled out all this like gunk, and it was just like really kind of disgusting. I'm so grateful that she did it, but she was like, and she is she's familiar with like some of the feng shui stuff, which is all about this very thing. Clutter or how things are set up in your house are a reflection of how energy moves and flows. And she was like, yeah, your drain in your bathroom is actually, or in your shower, is tied to abundance. And of course, I'm writing my abundance manifestation book, The Golden Key, which, by the way, you guys can go to goldenkey.gift to register to get it for free when it comes out on January 5th, if you haven't heard yet. And so I'm writing the book, and I'm like, oh, really? Oh, wow. And she's like, yeah, so prepare for a lot more abundance. Look at the gunk I cleaned out that was clogging the drain. And sure enough, all these great things happened in the week or 2 weeks prior. Post, her doing that. Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to share a perfect gift idea for the upcoming holiday season, Features Socks. If you pay attention when you watch any of the episodes of my variety show Optimistic, you'll notice that I typically take my shoes off at some point during the interview portion, and it quickly becomes very obvious I'm a huge fan of fun, funky, colorful socks. So when Features originally reached out to me, I was super excited because I instantly loved the way they looked. But after actually wearing them, I realized there is a very good reason runners and golfers are increasingly making Features their sock of choice above and beyond their excellent style. Features have been engineered with targeted compression and an excellent design that keep them from bunching, slipping, and sliding into your shoe. I love the unique cut of the Elite golf socks and the anatomical design of all their styles because they actually conform to the left and right shape of your feet, creating an enhanced, custom-like fit that reduces discomfort and prevents blisters. They're also so durable and long-lasting that if you're unsatisfied at any point, they'll give you a replacement pair, no questions asked, for lifetime guarantee. And I can guarantee if you guys take advantage of the $10 off offer on your first pair at features.com when you use the code POSITIVEHEAD, that they will help make someone's holiday season merry and bright, to be sure. Once again, that is Features, spelled FEETURES.com, promo code POSITIVEHEAD, all one word, to receive $10 off your first pair. And so it's really interesting. It's real. Or even just with your body, I used to shower every day, wash my hair every day for, I don't know, many years. And then I got to where it's like, oh, I don't actually feel, I didn't do anything. I didn't sweat today. I'm not feeling that dirty. And I got less and less sort of anal about, that rigorous schedule I had for so long. And then, one of the things, obviously, you women especially know, like, have meticulous routines with washing your face every night and every morning. And, that's something that I never really, hey, I brush my teeth, floss most of the time. I'm good, unless I sweated or something cool. And then, of course, taking regular showers. So I had been having, you guys may have even heard me talk about this, what I thought, and it, I think it probably still is, like eczema across my nose, on my forehead a little bit. And once again, my rock star partner Karen is like, hey, with that, I'm thinking it's linked to food or whatever. And she's like, why don't you try just for a few weeks, just washing your face thoroughly every night before you go to bed, every morning. I've never done, had a routine like that. And it cleared up so much, so well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this as simple as being a little bit cleaner with washing my face, twice a day? And so these kind of things is really, really interesting energetically. Like, we've all heard the saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. I would say cleanliness is next to next levelness, right? How do you become that more immaculate version of yourself? How do you allow more abundance and energy to flow? Learning how to clean out the clutter in your life and getting rid of all the stuff that you don't need that is an energetic block in some way. When you clean things out, you actually make room for more, right? And so, how many things are stagnant in your world that you can level up? Especially, people stuck at home with, the COVID stuff, going out way less. That's something that we can all do from where we're at with what we've got. How can I be more immaculate with myself? How can I get rid of the things that are holding space and possibly blocking energy in my life? blocking more abundance coming in, blocking all the things I want. And, this is reflection. You probably have something sitting in the corner of your room or a closet that's been there for a decade that you haven't touched. I had a friend a while back who said her process was she would go through and say with every article of clothing, do I absolutely love this? And when she, and then make a decision to hold on to it or let it flow and let someone else utilize this thing. And that's actually one that I need to do. I have a lot of clothes and things that I no longer wear. So getting in there for me is on my to-dos. Like, okay, I want to get this stuff to someone else who will actually use it. And that feels really good too, right? So it's not only clearing out clutter, making way for more things to come flow into your life, but then, of course, helping others. We all know that is the path to everything. And it's an easy way to do it. And it's an easy way to elevate our vibration. I even think back to my friend Craig many years ago, who I've done a bunch of, it's been years now, but I did 6, I believe, ayahuasca journeys. And he would always afterwards, he'd lead the whole experience for everyone. He'd be like, okay, guys, tomorrow, and the next morning we're integrating. He goes, be sure and floss. That's like another representation of getting out the little gunk between the cracks, Same kind of thing, same idea. We just had the night before done deep, work, clearing out energetic baggage, if you will, with Mother Aya, and he's like, don't forget to floss, the final step, which I thought was interesting. But I found a clip here by Esther Hicks Abraham that talks about, this is probably the most practical, non-woo clip I've ever heard from Abraham. But certainly there's a little bit of course, typical Abraham stuff in here. But a woman asks about removing clutter, and I really like the system that she suggested. It's a pretty short clip. It's called Best Way to Remove Clutter. I found it on the Manifesting Desires YouTube page. Let's take a quick listen.
My other question is very simple. How do I get rid of all the clutter in my life?
Minding your own business will help a great deal. Were you talking about vibrational clutter or physical clutter?
Physical.
Well, same difference, in other words. Because clutter comes from clutter. In other words, when you are in clarity, clutter doesn't gather. But when you are in vibrational clutter, clutter gathers. And clutter usually gathers because it's sort of what we were talking about already. I have the feeling that this might be useful, although I have no rational reason why I think it might be useful. But just to make sure that I don't find myself in a place of lack, I'll keep everything that ever moves through my experience, just in case maybe I need it. In other words, that's sort of what clutter is about. What we would do, it is the most effective process that we've ever seen utilized for quickly diminishing clutter. Some of the things that go wrong with trying to deal with clutter is that as you try to deal with clutter, you're usually in confusion as you begin. And from your confused place, you are an attractor of clutter, not a releaser of clutter. So every piece of clutter you pick up is hard to put down. It's sort of like, you just get bogged down so fast, and then you get overwhelmed in it, and then you give up, and then you sort of become it, and then it doesn't bother you so much for a while, and then something else happens, and you have a moment of clarity, and then your clutter bothers you, and then you go to deal with the clutter, but then the clutter sort of gets you again. And so what you want is a process where you can quickly affect some big change, so that you have some hopefulness about it. Right. But you can't do that if it stirs up some strong resistance in you. And here's what we mean. So let's say you have this cluttered room. Let's call it an office. And you would like it to be tidier, but you don't know where to start. And so as you begin, you think, well, I'll just pile it all in someplace, and you do, which makes it worse because now you can't find anything. Or you think, well, I'll just throw all of this away, but you have a hard time doing that because you've had the experience of as soon as you discard it, you need it again. And so that causes resistance too. So the most effective thing that we've seen is go get a bunch of boxes. Bankers' boxes work very well because they can be assembled or they can be disassembled so they don't take up much space. But get a lot of them, maybe even 100 of them. depends upon your 100 or 200 or 500 would do most nicely in most lives. We would start with 100. We're not kidding.
No, I believe
we would
you.
get 100 boxes, and we would assemble 10 of them, and we would number them from 1 to 10. And then we would stand in the room of your greatest concern, and we would say as we stand there, I'm going to quickly move through this room, and anything that I have utilized in the last 6 months, in the last 30 days, today, anything that I've utilized in the last month or two, I'm going to leave right where it is. And anything that I have not utilized in the last month or two, I'm going to put in one of these boxes. And I'm not going to try to sort, because that sorting will bog you down, and then you can invest a lot of time and it won't get you anywhere. But I will try to sort of categorize. In other words, magazines in one box, red bikinis in another box. Things that are similar in size and nature in similar boxes. And then take a tape recorder, and as you pick up a stack of magazines, magazines, they seem to be architectural, they seem to be ladies' home journals, they seem to be whatever they are, in box number 1. And just keep putting things in boxes. And in an hour, you can move through a space in a very rapid way, and you've given yourself the satisfaction of now knowing where everything is. In other words, it's not lost. Now, what you're going to do with these boxes, you're going to put the lid on them, and you're going to stack them against some wall. That would make a very good place, sort of out of the way. And you can stack them as high as you want to. And if you ever need anything in them, you've got the information on the recorder. And then some night, when you're watching television, or when you are doing something where you don't have anything to do, listen to the recording with a Wheeldex or an alphabetical card file of some nature, and write, when you hear it, magazines, box number 1, red bikini, box number 7, digital camera that's broken but I don't want to throw it away, box number 4. Pictures that someday I will put in an album, box number 7, so that you know where they are, and then they're in your file, so that if you ever need them, you can retrieve them easily, and they are out of your way. And so now you've accomplished 2 things. You've cleared your space of clutter. And it's an interesting thing, because everything has a vibration to it. It had the vibration when you first touched it. Sometimes it even had the vibration of whoever you were interacting with. Everything has a vibration. And so all of this stuff that's been vibrating all around you is now relegated to one place. You might even put it in the garage or in a storage building or someplace where it's out of sight and therefore out of your vibrational range. And if you ever need it, you can receive it easily. We would go through our entire house like that. We would take everything that we are not actively using and put it someplace else. And the way you will begin to feel in your space will change dramatically. And then eventually, as you acknowledge, I have boxes 1 through 100 on that wall, and in the last 6 months, I have not gotten into any of them. You may say, maybe I don't need boxes 1 through 100, and then you would be willing to release them. Or you might say, I'm happy to keep those boxes around. They're not bothering me. Yes.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
Clutter comes from clutter. Vibrational clutter or physical clutter, same difference, right? And I thought this was a really good plan that she talked about here, because that's a lot of times I think people are just overwhelmed with, I don't know exactly how to go about it or what to do, or how to start moving the needle. I know there's also, I've never seen the show, but there's a big, I want to say Netflix show where the woman is all about getting rid of clutter and everything, and it's super, super popular. Some of you have probably seen it. I'd like to see it. I haven't checked it out, but how do we utilize these little things, these very practical approach? The big stuff is the little stuff, right? The little stuff is the big stuff. It's all reflections of the same thing. It's, it makes me think of the quote, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And before enlightenment, clean out the clutter. After enlightenment, clean out the clutter. Keep doing the work. We're in it. You're continuing to level up, and this is such a simple way to free up energy and to open up new avenues of higher vibrations to flow into your world. With that being said, I do have a speaking of high vibrations, this song I absolutely love. It's an artist, looks like a Japanese name. I'm gonna probably butcher it. Nako Yangasawa. The song is called Shinrin Yoku, and it's the only track I've seen from this artist on Spotify, but I hope they make more because it's really, really good. Hope you guys enjoy this, and yeah, once again, you guys out there who are interested, check out positivehead.com/trust, and yeah, maybe see you around here at the Mystic Manor on December 12th.
Also, before we cue up today's song, I wanted to remind you about the game with the universe on our website, where you can choose the first number that comes to your mind and it'll pull up that episode number of the podcast. I've been saying this is a great way to co-create synchronicity and magic with your higher self for quite some time. And if you go to positivehead.com/universe, there is a super fun and simple interface to play this game with your higher self. I firmly believe just by setting the intention to play in this way, it opens up the door for magic, and it's a synchronistic way to hone in on nuggets of wisdom out of the huge catalog of episodes that are specifically appropriate for you at this time in your journey to becoming the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. And it also makes for a super fun way to spark the curiosity of friends and family by having them choose a number, so they'll hopefully go and check out their number as well, which I greatly appreciate because it helps us to spread the word about the podcast. Once again, the address is positivehead.com/universe. And as a quick reminder, if you're curious to learn more about Purium superfoods and why I take them almost every day, be sure to also check out positivehead.com/transformation. On this journey of becoming the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves that we have all embarked upon, I cannot stress the importance of managing your physical vibration enough. And quite honestly, Purium has put together the simplest plan I've found to do so. I have my favorite, the appleberry shake, at least 5 times a week. Once again, to learn more about the Purium transformation, go to positivehead.com/transformation. Or if you want to keep it simple and just try out my favorite, the appleberry shake, you can go straight over to ishoppurium.com and be sure to use code positivehead for 25% off. I'll spell that for you. It's ishoppurium.com. And be sure to use your Positive Head 25% coupon code.